All right, let's go back to Cape Town and we talk to Bulelani Philip, who's outside City Hall for us this afternoon, overlooking what's happening there. Bulelani, all right, so have you started to see some activity there? I know that our colleague Mondli was able to have a conversation with Minister Lindiwe Zulu. Are you starting to sort of see some of the dignitaries who will be attending this evening?
Well, welcome back to the precinct of the Cape Town City Hall. This is where tonight's State of the Nation address will come from at 7 p.m. this evening. Of course, there's a lot of things happening around here. A lot of MPs are arriving in shuttles. And behind me is where the red carpet is going to be. Minister in the Presidency, Mondli Gungubele, now joins me for a conversation. Minister, thank you so much for your time.
Good afternoon.
Just 2 hours to the State of the Nation address. The last time you spoke to the President or saw him, what was his demeanor like?
He looked calm, relaxed, ready for tonight's task. We're looking forward to that.
And the main priorities that he'll focus on his speech?
Naturally, the President would have briefed the nation tonight about the state of what he pronounced last year, February the 10th. Area of infrastructure, energy, SMMEs, and of course the President would have spoken about how society is coalescing behind the programs that are confronting the nation. That's what the President is going to do.
Should we expect any drastic or radical announcements from him regarding the issue of securing energy in the short term?
I don't want to use the word more radical, but the President will make important pronouncements in as far as energy is concerned, more about what are we doing. If there are any additional interventions, the President will say something about that.
Now, you are in charge for monitoring and evaluation. On one hand, Minister of Mineral Resources and Energy, Gwede Mandashe, says load shedding will be gone in 12 months. And on the other hand, we have a finance minister, Godogwana, saying it's going to go in 12 months up until 18 months. As the person who's in charge of monitoring the performance of government and its entities, when should we expect this nightmare of load shedding to go away?
We want it to go yesterday.
But in terms of the plans that we have now on the table, ideally, we all want it to go yesterday.
We want to go it in as short a time as possible. Minimally, a strong proposal is a year. The worst is 12 to 18 months. But we want load shedding to go. It is something that South Africans do not deserve. It is something our people do not need to be exposed to. But we're doing everything, and the President will state all the things we're doing tonight.
And just with regards to this talk that the President will be reshuffling his cabinet, given that there are some vacancies or acting ministers in those vacancies, has there been any talk at the level of the executive as to when will that happen? Have you received a call?
The point is that I'm a member of the cabinet. When the President is contemplating reshuffling, it means I am part of the structure that is being reviewed. That then logical will tell you, I don't know the modicum of the percentage of the intention of the President.
So you haven't got a call to say, Mondli Gungubele, come here, I want to talk to you.
All I did, I had a session with the President in preparation for tonight. We didn't discuss about me and where I'm going. All I got are the tasks that I usually get.
Does the President worry when there are threats that are issued ahead of his State of the Nation address and sometimes ahead of the oral question and answer session in Parliament? The reason why I'm asking this thing, I ask you, how is his demeanor going into today? When you left him, was he worried at all about the threats that have been issued by the EFF?
If you want to know something about this President, he's very content with the implications of the Constitution whose drafting he led. He led the drafting of this Constitution. He knew its implication. He has actually passed a number of tests of the insane and sane, of the crazy and normal. he has always made sure that his reaction to those is within the framework of the Constitution he led to draft. So his calmness is to the extent that everything will be done within the Constitution.
Does he feel that he's got his back against the wall, given that he doesn't seem to be enjoying support from the opposition parties? They don't seem to have trust in this national, action plan of energy plan. Does he feel that he's got his back against the wall, that he needs to say something that would at least appease a lot of sectors in our society?
You know, let me tell you one thing, Mbu. I could not remember when. All I can tell you is that not long ago, when leaders' reputations were tested, none of these leaders compared with the president. Even compared to his own party, the president was 8% ahead. So I understand when the opposition is targeting him, it's because they know the critical factor he is in leading the organization.
Lastly, before I let you go, Minister, obviously the issue of load shedding will have an impact in terms of the influencing of perceptions of people in society. Next year we're going to the national general elections. Is the ANC, the ruling party, concerned that perhaps maybe this kind of nightmare that we're experiencing is going to affect the ANC's 50% plus one majority in the National Assembly?
If you allow me a second to go back a bit, to quote one of the old man I respect so much, Chief Albert Lutul, when he was asked if they ever thought who is going to be in power after freedom, he said that's not our primary objective. Our primary objective is to put the tenets of democracy so that whoever is in charge, humanity triumphs. That's what governs the ANC today. Our obligation to the service of humanity. We will be happy if we get elected, but that's not our primary focus now. Our primary focus is the reason why ANC exists. If you go to its aims and objectives, from point 1 to point 9 in Rule 2, it speaks about the state of the people, not about the conference of the ANC, not about the ANC. So that's what governs the ANC.
But doesn't it bother you that it may push you below the 50% mark?
We will not be comfortable if we are pushed below the percentage where we are able to determine the direction. But I want to repeat, ANC became the most popular organization because of what it did in the service of the people. We are focusing on that, which actually kept us on top.
Minister Mondli Gungubele, thank you so much for your time and wish you all the best. I'm going to hand over now to my colleague Samkele Maseko, is going to be taking over.
Well, Bulelani, interesting conversation there with the minister in the presidency. Also, a very powerful political figure in the political imaginations of the governing party. But South Africa is once again glowing on an international aspect, with Zakes Bantwini bagging in that Grammy Award with other artists in those Grammy Awards that were held recently. I'm going to now bring in the Deputy Minister of Sports and Recreation, Deputy Minister Nokawe Mafu. Deputy Minister, just the essence of South Africa glowing once again. Zakes Bantwini bagging in that award with Nomcebo Zigote. South Africa, how are you feeling with that accolade once again that was achieved by Black Coffee, now being achieved by Zakhele Madida?
Thank you so much, Samkele. We as South Africans, particularly as the Department of Sport, Arts and Culture, we are very proud indeed. And I think for us in particular, Grammy Award is an award that is international. It actually puts South Africa on the map at a time that South Africa is on the map for all the other reasons. But now it's a reason that everybody will celebrate, a reason that we get very proud of, a reason that puts the culture of South Africa into the map, the music of South Africa into the map. It also shows that you are ready to compete with the best in the world, because we are there on the world stage and we are able to bring back that Grammy Award. Congratulations to Zakes, to Nomcebo, and actually we want more of those Grammy Awards to come home. Thank you so much.
There's a song by Zakhele Madida which speaks about dreams delayed are not dreams denied, particularly when you look at his rise within the music fraternity at a global aspect. What does that say about South African music and the offering that we are giving to the world? You look at you remember the likes of Mamprenda Fasi and the role that they have, the likes of Lady Smith, Black Mambazo as well.
Yes, it's so true. Look, South Africa has got a lot of talent and South Africa has got a lot to offer. But many a times, we don't sometimes appreciate what we have. And indeed, a dream delayed is not a dream denied. We know Zake's quality, and we also know how many, because he's a songwriter, he has written songs for other artists, but this time he is there on the world stage and he bagged that Grammy, and he's always been on the world stage for years, but it's only now that he's getting that award. So we really want to say to the artists in South Africa, never lose hope, do the best you can, your time is gonna come. Everybody that puts his best foot forward, the world is watching, and when the time is right, the world will celebrate with you.
The world is indeed watching, but we were about to invest over R1 billion in a team in England, in the English Premier League. As the Deputy Minister of Sports and Recreation, shouldn't that money be spent in investing in South African sports instead?
I think the best people that can be able to answer that is the Department of Tourism. The Department of Sports, Arts and Culture has got nothing to do with that tender, with whatever that Tottenham was dealing with. But it's something that we are also watching closely, because remember, at the end of the day, we want our sport to be on the international space, but we also want to make sure that the people of South Africa benefit to that process. So we will wait, and we are watching very closely. We want to be part of that process. If it benefits South Africans and it also benefits the sport and the South Africans are happy about it, we will also say it's fine. But if South Africans say it's not, we will also say it's not fine. Thank you.
But is it worth it to take R1 billion to a team in the English Premier League with a country ravaged with poverty, inequality such as ours?
I think the best people that can answer that question is the tourism people. Ask that question. They are coming. They are on their way. Tourism people must answer.
That is Notawe Mafu, the Deputy Minister of Sports and Recreation in the country. Those whom are political dignitaries are indeed arriving. The economic freedom fighters will be also making their way into the City Hall here, Bongiwe and Sakina, where they will, in essence, be disrupting President Cyril Ramaphosa. In their own words, they no longer view and see Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa, in their words, as the President of the Republic of South Africa, over the revelations coming from the Phala Phala farm.